My beloved child, let me speak to you about that whisper you keep hearing. It is not loud. It does not shout over the chaos of your daily life. It does not force itself upon you. It comes gently, like a breeze that brushes against your soul and then waits for you to notice. That whisper is not your imagination. It is my voice drawing you closer to what I have prepared. You have felt it in unexpected moments. When you are driving alone. When you are staring at the ceiling at night. When you are watching others step into new seasons, and something inside you stirs, not jealousy, but recognition. It feels like a quiet knowing, a sense that you are meant for something more than what you are currently living. That is not pride. That is purpose awakening. I often begin my greatest works in whispers. I do not always announce destiny with thunder. I plant it softly, so it can take root without fear choking it. Think of a seed beneath the soil. It does not break the ground the same day it is planted. First, it grows in secret. First, it strengthens where no one can see. That whisper you hear is the seed pushing through unseen layers, preparing for its moment in the light. You may have doubted it because it does not come with a full map. I rarely give you the entire blueprint at once. If I showed you everything at the beginning, you might feel overwhelmed. You might try to control what must be trusted. So I give you the next step in the form of a nudge, a gentle thought, an idea that keeps returning, a door that seems to open slightly, just enough for you to notice. My child, you are not foolish for sensing this. You are not unstable for wanting change. You are not ungrateful for desiring growth. The whisper is not dissatisfaction with your life. It is an invitation into deeper alignment with me. There is a difference between running from where you are and being called forward into where you are meant to be. What you are feeling is not escape. It is calling. But whispers require stillness. And I know how loud your world can be. Responsibilities, expectations, distractions, fears, they all compete for your attention. That is why sometimes the whisper grows stronger when you are tired of the noise. It waits for the quiet cracks in your routine. It finds you when your heart is finally still enough to listen. Do not be afraid of the unknown attached to the whisper. I am not leading you into confusion. I am leading you into expansion. Every great journey begins with a small yes to something that does not yet make complete sense. Faith is not blind. It is trust in the one who sees. And I see far beyond what you can imagine. You have been asking me for clarity, and I am giving it to you in layers. The whisper is the first layer. It is the gentle tap on your heart before the door opens wider. It is the invitation before the instruction. It is my way of preparing your spirit before your circumstances change. Lean into it, my beloved. Instead of dismissing it, sit with it. Ask me about it. Let it grow. What feels small now will become undeniable later. What feels uncertain now will soon feel like confirmation. The whisper you hear is not leading you away from safety. It is leading you toward destiny. And I am walking with you every step of the way. My beloved child, let me speak again about that whisper you keep trying to define. It is subtle, almost fragile, yet it carries a weight that refuses to disappear. It does not demand your attention the way fear does. It does not shout the way doubt does. It simply remains. Patient. Steady. Persistent. That whisper is my voice brushing against your spirit, inviting you into something greater than what you have known. You have felt it in moments when life seemed ordinary on the outside, yet something inside you felt unfinished. You could be surrounded by people and still sense that there is another layer to your story waiting to unfold. You could be succeeding in ways that others applaud, yet deep within, you feel a gentle tug saying, "There is more." That tug is not greed. It is not restlessness without reason. It is divine prompting. I often begin transformation quietly. I do not always interrupt your life with dramatic signs. Instead, I plant awareness within you. Think of a horizon at dawn. Before the sun rises fully, there is only a faint line of light. Many overlook it because it does not yet warm the sky. But that faint line carries the promise of day. The whisper you hear is that first light on your horizon. You may question it because it does not come with guarantees. It does not provide every detail. It does not answer every how or when. But I do not lead you by overwhelming you. I lead you by awakening you. If I revealed the entire journey at once, your human heart might shrink back. So I invite you step by step, breath by breath, into deeper trust. My beloved, you are not imagining this. You are discerning it. There is a difference. Imagination fades when reality presses in. But discernment grows stronger even when circumstances try to bury it. The whisper has survived your busy days. It has survived your attempts to rationalize it away. It has survived your fear of stepping beyond what feels comfortable. That persistence is evidence of my hand. Consider how a seed begins its life. It is placed beneath dark soil. From the outside, nothing appears to be happening. Yet within that hidden place, something miraculous unfolds. Roots begin to stretch downward before the plant ever rises upward. The whisper you feel is your roots growing deeper. I am strengthening you beneath the surface so that when you rise, you will stand firm. You have been wondering why certain desires will not leave you, why certain ideas return again and again, why certain paths seem to glow faintly in your thoughts. That is because purpose does not knock once and disappear. When I place calling inside you, it echoes, it repeats. It gently insists, not to pressure you, but to prepare you. I know the world around you is loud. It measures success in ways that do not always align with my design. It tells you to stay where it is safe. It tells you to silence anything that disrupts comfort. But growth rarely feels comfortable at first. Expansion stretches what once felt secure. And when your spirit begins to expand, it can feel unsettling before it feels liberating. Do not mistake the whisper for discontent. It is not dissatisfaction with your life. It is invitation into fullness. There is a chapter of your story that has not yet been written, and I am the author who sees every page. I would never awaken hunger in you without also preparing nourishment. I would never ignite longing without also creating fulfillment. The whisper is my kindness. It is my way of drawing you gently instead of pushing you forcefully. I honor your freedom. I honor your pace. But I also know what you are capable of becoming. And I refuse to let you settle for less than the life I designed for you. So lean closer, my child. Instead of silencing the whisper, listen. Instead of doubting it, bring it to me in quiet conversation. Ask me to confirm it. Ask me to shape it. I am not hiding your future from you. I am unfolding it with wisdom. What you are sensing is the beginning of alignment. It is the sound of destiny stirring beneath ordinary days. And as you grow still enough to hear it clearly, you will realize that it has been me all along, guiding, preparing, and calling you forward into something far greater than you dared to believe. My beloved child, let me tell you why your heart has felt restless lately. You have tried to calm it. You have told yourself to be content. You have even questioned whether something is wrong with you. But there is nothing broken in you. What you are feeling is not instability. It is expansion. Restlessness, when it is born from me, is not chaos. It is movement. It is the gentle shifting of your spirit when the place you once fit perfectly no longer holds the fullness of who you are becoming. Imagine a young eagle in its nest. There was a time when the nest felt safe, warm, and right. But as its wings grow stronger, the same nest that once protected it begins to feel small. The discomfort is not punishment. It is preparation for flight. You have outgrown certain thoughts. You have outgrown certain fears. You have even outgrown certain environments. That does not mean they were wrong for you before. They were necessary for a season. But seasons change, and so do you. I designed you to grow, and growth always brings stretching. You may feel a holy dissatisfaction with normal. What once satisfied you now feels shallow. What once excited you now feels temporary. That is because I am lifting your vision. I am showing you glimpses of something greater, and your spirit cannot fully settle for less anymore. This is not ingratitude. It is awakening. When restlessness comes from fear, it drains you. But when it comes from me, it pulls you forward. It carries energy. It carries vision. It carries a quiet hope that refuses to die. Even when you try to ignore it, it gently taps on your heart and says, "There is more." That is my voice calling you upward. Do not confuse comfort with calling. Comfort keeps you still. Calling moves you. And you were not created to live confined by what is familiar. You were created to step into purpose, even when it requires courage. The discomfort you feel is the stretching of new capacity within you. Think of a seed breaking open beneath the soil. From the outside, it looks like destruction. The shell splits. The form changes. But that breaking is the only way growth can begin. If the seed refused to split because it feared the unknown, it would remain buried forever. My beloved, you are not breaking apart. You are breaking open. You have asked me for greater impact. You have prayed for deeper meaning. And now that I am answering, you must not retreat into what feels easy. Restlessness is the sign that your spirit senses the nearness of something bigger. It is the signal that your current boundaries cannot contain your next level. If these words are stirring something deep within you, if you recognize this holy restlessness in your own heart, then do not keep this message to yourself. Bless this message with a like so it can travel farther than you ever could. Hype this video so it rises and reaches souls who are silently wrestling with the same stirring. Subscribe to this channel so you continue to receive the encouragement I am pouring out for you. And share this message with 3 souls who need reassurance that their restlessness is not madness, but movement. Do not be ashamed of the fire you feel inside. I placed it there. I am not calling you to reckless leaps, but to faithful steps. I am not rushing you, but I am awakening you. Trust the tension. Trust the stretching. Trust the holy discomfort. Something big is waiting for you, and the restlessness you feel is proof that you are drawing closer to it. Do not shrink back now. Let the stirring lead you forward. I am guiding every step. My beloved, as you feel this holy restlessness stirring within you, know that it is not only about where I am taking you. It is also about who I am calling you to lift as you rise. Something big is waiting for you, and part of that something is the impact your obedience can have on countless unseen souls. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal seed, the PayPal link is in the video description, you are casting bread upon the waters, and I promise it will return as a harvest of transformed hearts. Did I not say, "Give, and it shall be given unto you"? Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I am speaking that over you now. Your generosity becomes oil in the lamp, keeping this light burning for those wandering in darkness. It becomes manna for the weary who click on these messages in the middle of restless nights. This is not a transaction. It is participation in my movement. When you feel the desire to support, that is my spirit prompting you. Do not ignore it. I will multiply every seed, guard your provision, and cause favor to surround you like a shield. Act now, to boldly. Let your giving carry my word farther than your feet ever could. My beloved child, whenever something greater begins to awaken inside you, fear will try to awaken beside it. This is not by accident. Fear often rises as a shadow to purpose. The closer you move toward what I have prepared, the louder that trembling voice may seem. But listen carefully to me now. Fear is not your master, and it is not your destiny. You have felt its grip. The moment you consider saying yes to something new, your heart beats faster. Questions flood your mind. What if I fail? What if I am not enough? What if I step forward and everything falls apart? Fear speaks quickly, urgently, as if it is trying to protect you. It presents itself as wisdom, but it is often just resistance to growth. Understand this, my child. Fear is a natural response to transition, but it is not a divine instruction to retreat. When a door begins to open, your mind searches for certainty. You want guarantees. You want proof. Yet faith does not begin with full visibility. It begins with trust in the one who sees beyond your sight. Fear magnifies the unknown. It paints the future in dark colors. It tells you that staying where you are is safer than stepping into unfamiliar territory. But remaining where you have outgrown is not safety. It is stagnation. You were not created to remain confined to yesterday's boundaries. You were created to expand, to rise, to walk into new seasons with me. Think of a child learning to swim. The water feels cold at first. The depth feels intimidating. The child clings to the edge, afraid to let go. Yet the same water that seems frightening becomes the very place where strength and freedom are discovered. If the child never loosens their grip, they never learn their capacity. Fear would keep them at the edge forever. But courage, it's small, trembling courage, allows them to float. My beloved, fear often grows loudest right before breakthrough. It senses that change is near. It senses that you are about to outgrow limitations that once defined you. And so it tries to convince you that you are incapable. It reminds you of past mistakes. It replays old failures. It whispers that you are too flawed, too late, too inexperienced. But I am not limited by your past. I am not threatened by your weakness. I have always known your imperfections, and still I have called you forward. If I required perfection before purpose, no one would ever move. I do not call the qualifying the qualified cone. And if I am stirring something within you, it is because I have already prepared you more than you realize. There is a difference between wise caution and paralyzing fear. Wisdom invites you to seek counsel, to pray, to move thoughtfully. Fear demands that you freeze. Wisdom says, take the next step carefully. Fear says, do not move at all. I am not asking you to leap without discernment. I am asking you not to let fear silence the whisper I have placed in your heart. Remember the times you were afraid before, yet you moved forward anyway. Remember the conversations you were nervous to have, the risks you were hesitant to take, the changes you thought you could not survive. And yet, here you are, stronger, wiser, more resilient than you once believed possible. Those moments were training. They were proof that fear does not get the final word in your life. Fear is loud, but it is not powerful unless you agree with it. It can shout, but it cannot decide. Only you can decide whether you will shrink back or step forward. And you do not make the decision alone. I am with you in every trembling breath. I am steady when you feel unsteady. I am certain when you feel unsure. When fear rises, bring it to me instead of hiding from it. Speak it openly in prayer. Let me remind you of who I am. I am the one who goes before you into every unknown space. I am the one who stands beside you when your knees feel weak. I am the one who holds the outcome in my hands. The presence of fear does not mean you are on the wrong path. Sometimes it is confirmation that you are approaching something significant. Ordinary steps rarely provoke deep resistance, but destiny does. Do not misinterpret the trembling as a warning to stop. It may be the sign that you are finally standing at the edge of transformation. Stand firm, my beloved. Let fear whisper if it must, but do not crown it as truth. Let my voice be louder. Let my promises anchor you. The future waiting for you is not built on your confidence alone. It is built on my faithfulness, and I have never failed you. My beloved child, long before you understood your own desires, I placed seeds inside of you. You did not earn them. You did not choose them. I lovingly planted them in the quiet beginnings of your life. Gifts, passions, sensitivities, strengths that would unfold over time. And now, as something big waits ahead of you, those very seeds are beginning to stir. You sometimes look at others and wonder why they seem so certain of their calling. You compare your journey to theirs and question whether you have what it takes. But you do not see the full garden I have planted within you. Seeds do not shout while they are growing. They develop in hidden places, beneath the surface, long before fruit appears. Inside you, I have planted compassion that feels deeply. I have planted courage that rises when others shrink back. I have planted creativity, resilience, wisdom, and insight in forms that are uniquely yours. And no one else carries your exact combination. And no one else has walked your precise path. Every joy you have experienced and every hardship you have endured has watered the seeds I placed within you. Think of a single seed in your hand. It looks small. It seems insignificant. Yet within it is the blueprint of a towering tree. Branches, leaves, hay, fruit. Even generations of new seeds are hidden in that tiny form. If you judged it only by its appearance, you would underestimate its potential. My child, you often judge yourself the same way. You measure your present size and forget the vast design I have encoded within you. There were moments in your life that felt like burying. Times when you felt unseen. Times when your efforts went unnoticed. Times when you wondered if you were being overlooked. But burial is not abandonment. Seeds must be covered before they can grow. The soil that feels heavy is often the very thing protecting early development. I have been cultivating you in ways you could not fully perceive. Some seeds take longer to break through the surface. They require deeper roots before visible growth. I know the exact timing of your unfolding. I know when you are strong enough to carry the weight of what I am preparing to release in your life. If I allowed certain doors to open too early, the branches would not yet be sturdy enough to hold the fruit. You may have noticed certain desires that have followed you for years. Dreams that refuse to disappear. Passions that resurface even after disappointment. Those are not random thoughts drifting through your mind. They are signs of seeds that are still alive. Even when doubt tried to scorch them, even when fear tried to freeze them, they remained intact because I am the gardener who watches over what I plant. Do not despise small beginnings. Do not dismiss the quiet talents that feel ordinary to you. The world often celebrates loud gifts, but I delight in depth. A seed does not compete with another seed. It simply grows according to its design. You were not meant to replicate someone else's calling. You were meant to cultivate your own. There will be a moment when what has been hidden becomes visible, when roots that grew in silence support growth that others can finally see. And when the time comes, you will realize that nothing was wasted. Every lesson, every delay, every hidden season serve a purpose. Trust the process of growth. Trust the one who planted you. I do not scatter seeds carelessly. I plant intentionally. And if I have placed something inside you, it is because I intend for it to flourish. Something big is waiting for you, yes, but it is not foreign to you. It is connected to the seeds already within you. The future I am leading you toward is not separate from who you are. It is the full expression of who I created you to be. Remain rooted in me, my beloved. Water the gifts I have given you with faith. Protect them from the weeds of comparison and the frost of doubt. In time, what is growing within you will break through the surface. And when it does, you will stand in awe, not at your own strength, but at the faithfulness of the one who planted every seed. My beloved child, I see the impatience that quietly sits in your heart. You feel the stirring. You sense that something big is waiting for you. Yet when you look around, your circumstances seem unchanged. The doors have not fully opened. The answers have not fully arrived. And you wonder why the timing feels so slow. Let me gently remind you, slow does not mean stagnant. Delay does not mean denial. What feels like waiting to you is often preparation in my hands. You measure time in days and months. I measure it in readiness and alignment. You look for visible movement, but I am often working beneath the surface where your eyes cannot see. Just as a farmer plants seeds and must trust the unseen growth happening underground, you are being developed in ways that will sustain what is coming. If I move it too quickly, you might step into something your character is not yet ready to carry. Blessings without preparation can become burdens. Opportunities without maturity can become pressure. I am not withholding from you. I am strengthening you. Think of a craftsman shaping a vessel from clay. The clay does not understand why it must be pressed, turned, and refined again and again. It might feel as though nothing is progressing, but each careful motion increases its capacity. Each pause allows the structure to hold firm. If the craftsman rushed the process, the vessel would crack under pressure. My timing protects you from breaking under the weight of what you have prayed for. You have asked me for greater purpose. You have asked me for impact. You have asked me for open doors. Those prayers matter to me. I do not ignore them, but I answer them with wisdom, not haste. There are connections aligning that you cannot yet see. There are lessons shaping you that you do not yet fully appreciate. There are distractions being removed quietly, so you can step forward without unnecessary weight. Waiting stretches your faith. It teaches you to trust my heart even when you cannot trace my hand. It refines your motives. It reveals whether you desire the blessing more than you desire me. And in that refinement, your foundation becomes stronger. I know you sometimes compare your timeline to others. You see people moving ahead, launching dreams, stepping into new seasons, and you question your own pace. But you do not see their full story, and they do not see yours. Every life unfolds according to a design that is uniquely crafted. Comparison will only distort your peace. Imagine a sunrise. If it arrived all at once, your eyes would struggle to adjust. Instead, light increases gradually. The sky shifts color slowly. There is beauty in the progression. The slow reveal allows you to appreciate each stage. In the same way, I unfold your life in stages, so that when the fullness arrives, you will be able to sustain it. You may feel as though you are standing still, but you are not. Every day you choose faith over fear, you are moving forward. Every time you resist discouragement, you are growing stronger. Every moment you remain obedient in small things, you are building the structure that will hold greater things. My beloved, I am never late. I am never right. I am intentional. What I am preparing for you is not temporary excitement. It is lasting impact. And lasting things require careful timing. If the season feels quiet, lean into it. Use this time to deepen your roots, strengthen your discipline, refine your vision. Draw closer to me. The waiting season is not empty space. It is sacred space. Trust that I see the full picture. Trust that I am aligning events beyond your awareness. Trust that what feels slow now will one day make perfect sense. When the moment arrives, you will understand why it could not have happened any sooner. Something big is waiting for you, and it is not delayed by accident. It is being positioned with precision. Remain steady. Remain hopeful. The timing is unfolding exactly as it should. My beloved child, there are doors in your past that still ache when you think about them. Opportunities that slipped away. Relationships that ended. Plans that collapsed when you were certain they would succeed. At the time, it felt like loss. It felt like rejection. It felt like something precious was taken from you. But I need you to see those closed doors through a different lens. Not every closed door is a failure. Some are protection. You often judge a moment by how it feels in the present. If it hurts, you assume it harmed you. If it ended, you assume it was meant to continue. But I see beyond the moment. I see where each path would have led. I see the hidden fractures behind certain opportunities. I see the weight you would have carried had that door remained open. And in my love, I sometimes close what you would have kept open. There were doors you prayed would open. You fasted. You hoped. You imagined your future unfolding through them. When they shut, it felt like silence from me. But silence is not absence. Sometimes it is redirection. Imagine a traveler approaching a bridge that looks sturdy from a distance. The path seems clear. The destination seems promising. But from a higher vantage point, I see that the bridge ahead is unstable. I see cracks that the traveler cannot detect. If I allow the journey to continue uninterrupted, the collapse would be devastating. So I reroute the path. The traveler feels confused, frustrated, even disappointed. But the rerouting is mercy. Some relationships ended because they could not carry you into your next season. Some opportunities dissolved because they were too small for where I am taking you. Some dreams shattered because they were built on incomplete understanding. You mourned them, and I held you while you grieved. But I never lost sight of the greater design. It is easy to romanticize closed doors once time has passed. You look back and imagine what might have been. But you do not see the unseen consequences that were avoided. You do not see the growth that would have been stunted. You do not see how staying would have required shrinking parts of yourself that I am now expanding. Closed doors often clear space. They remove distractions. They refine your focus. They teach you resilience. Every time you thought something was ending your progress, I was refining your direction. You were not being pushed backward. You were being positioned forward. Consider how a sculptor shapes stone. Pieces are chipped away, not because the stone is worthless, but because something more beautiful is being revealed. The removal feels violent to the stone. Yet without it, the masterpiece would remain hidden. In the same way, certain losses have carved you into someone stronger, wiser, and more prepared. You have learned discernment through disappointment. You have learned boundaries through betrayal. You have learned patience through delay. These lessons were not punishments. They were preparation. My beloved, if a door closed, it means it could not hold your destiny. I do not tease you with blessings only to snatch them away. I protect you from paths that do not align with your purpose. And sometimes protection feels like pain before it feels like clarity. Trust that nothing truly meant for you will miss you. What I have ordained for your life cannot be stolen by timing, by mistakes, or by others' decisions. If it slipped away, it was not secure enough to carry your future. Release the regret. Release the what if. Let those closed doors rest behind you. They served their role. They shaped you. But they do not define where you are going. Something big is waiting for you, and it is not behind the doors that shut. It is ahead, beyond the redirections, beyond the disappointments, beyond the moments that made you question my plan. I have been guiding you all along, even when it felt like loss. Walk forward without looking back in sorrow. The doors that closed were not the end of your story. They were the turning of the page. My beloved child, I see the weariness that sometimes settles over you. You have been believing. You have been waiting. You have been holding on to the quiet promise that something big is ahead. Yet there are moments when your current reality feels unchanged, and you begin to wonder if you imagined the whole thing. You question whether you misheard me. But I am telling you now with tenderness and certainty, you are closer than you think. Progress does not always look dramatic. Often, it looks ordinary. It looks like small daily obedience. It looks like choosing hope when discouragement whispers. It looks like continuing when quitting would feel easier. Because the movement is not always visible, you assume it is not happening. But unseen movement is still movement. Think about the moments just before dawn. The sky is at its darkest point. If you wake in that hour, everything appears still and unchanged. You could easily believe that night will last forever. Yet beneath that darkness, the earth is already turning toward the sun. Light is already approaching the horizon. The shift has already begun, even if your eyes cannot yet detect it. In the same way, your life may look unchanged on the surface, but alignment is already underway. You measure closeness by visible signs. I measure it by readiness of heart. And your heart has been growing. You are not who you were. The doubts that once overwhelmed you no longer control you in the same way. The fears that once paralyzed you now lose their grip more quickly. The lessons you resisted before, you now embrace. These changes may feel subtle, but they are significant. They are evidence that you are being prepared for what is coming. Consider a climber ascending a mountain. As the summit draws near, the climb often becomes steeper. Muscles burn. Breath becomes shorter. The final stretch feels more demanding than the first. In that exhaustion, the climber might believe the peak is still far away. But in reality, it may be just beyond the next ridge. Fatigue can distort perception. Weariness can convince you that you have made less progress than you truly have. You may feel spiritually fatigued. You have been trusting. You have been praying. You have been stepping forward even when clarity was incomplete. That effort matters. Every quiet act of obedience has moved you higher than you realize. You are not circling the same ground. You are ascending. There are small signs around you if you look closely. Conversations that spark new ideas. Opportunities that would not have appeared a year ago. a growing sense of inner stability. Even your increased awareness of what you truly desire is a sign of alignment. These are not coincidences. They are indicators that pieces are falling into place. The space you are in right now may feel like tension. The old season is not fully gone, yet the new one has not fully arrived. This in-between space can feel uncomfortable. It can feel uncertain. But it is often the doorway between preparation and manifestation. You are standing in transition, not stagnation. Do not let impatience convince you that you are far from fulfillment. Impatience often grows when fulfillment is near. The enemy of your peace wants you to give up just before the breakthrough. He wants you to settle into disbelief. But you must resist that temptation. You must anchor yourself in trust. My beloved, I am orchestrating details beyond your awareness. Paths are being cleared. Timing is aligning. Hearts are being softened. Doors are being positioned. Just because you cannot see the full picture does not mean it is incomplete. I see the whole design. Lift your head. Strengthen your heart. The ground beneath you is firmer than you feel. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are approaching purpose with every faithful step. The nearness you sense in your spirit is not illusion. It is confirmation. You are closer than you think. Closer to clarity. Closer to opportunity. Closer to the unfolding of what I have prepared. Do not retreat now. Do not silence your hope. The promise is not distant. It is drawing near. Remain steady, my beloved. Remain expectant. What waits for you is not fading away. It is for me, and you are almost there. My beloved child, there comes a moment in every journey when awareness is no longer enough. You have felt the stirring. You have endured the waiting. You have faced the fear. Now you stand at a quiet threshold. And the next step is not about having every answer. It is about finding the courage to say yes. Yes does not always sound loud. Sometimes it is whispered through trembling lips. Sometimes it is spoken in prayer when no one else can hear. Sometimes it is simply the decision in your heart to stop resisting what you know I am asking of you. Courage is not the absence of uncertainty. It is the willingness to move forward despite it. You often wait for perfect clarity before you act. You tell yourself that once you feel completely confident, then you will step forward. But confidence rarely comes before obedience. It grows because of it. When you say yes to me in small things, strength rises within you for greater things. Imagine standing at the edge of a river I have called you to cross. A current looks strong. The water looks cold. You test it with your foot, unsure of what will happen. You want a bridge to appear, something solid and guaranteed. But sometimes the miracle happens only after your foot touches the water. Faith activates movement. Movement activates experience. Experience builds trust. You may be afraid that your yes will cost you something. And sometimes it will. Growth requires letting go of what is familiar. Saying yes to purpose may mean releasing old patterns, old comforts, even old identities. But what you release is never greater than what you receive. I do not call you forward to diminish you. I call you forward to expand you. There is a story written into your life that cannot unfold without your participation. I will not force your obedience. I honor your freedom. But understand this, my beloved, your agreement matters. When you align your will with mine, heaven and earth begin to cooperate in ways you cannot imagine. Doors respond. Resources appear. Strength multiplies. Your yes does not need to be dramatic. It can begin with a single step. A conversation you have been postponing. A habit you have been meaning to start. a fear you decide to confront, a dream you stop dismissing. The size of the step is less important than the direction of your heart. You worry about failure. You worry about what others will think. You worry about whether you will regret trying. But regret often comes more from what you did not attempt than from what you attempted imperfectly. Failure is not final when I am guiding you. Even missteps become lessons that refine your path. Courage grows through practice. The more you choose trust over fear, the stronger your spirit becomes. The more you say yes in small matters, the more natural it becomes to say yes in larger ones. You are not expected to leap into the unknown alone. I walk with you. I steady you. I correct you gently if you stray. Do not underestimate the power of a surrendered heart. A simple yes spoken sincerely can shift the trajectory of your life. It opens you to opportunities you could not manufacture. It invites alignment that cannot be forced. It positions you for the something big that has been waiting. My beloved child, this is not about pressure. It is about partnership. I am inviting you into cooperation with the destiny I have prepared. The future ahead of you is not unlocked by perfection, but by willingness. Breathe deeply. Release the need to control every outcome. Trust that I am faithful. And when you feel that gentle nudge again, when the whisper returns asking for your agreement, do not silence it. Let your heart respond. Let your spirit rise. Find the courage to say yes, even if your voice shakes. Because on the other side of that yes is growth, fulfillment, and the unfolding of what I have lovingly prepared for you since the beginning. My beloved child, when you choose to trust me, something begins to shift that you cannot always explain with words. Trust is not merely a feeling. It is a decision that opens space for my power to move in your life. The moment you release your tight grip on control and place your confidence in me, peace begins to replace anxiety. You have spent so much energy trying to calculate every outcome. You have tried to predict every risk, prepare for every possibility, guard yourself from every disappointment. But trust allows you to rest. It does not mean you stop acting. It means you stop carrying what was never yours to carry. When you trust me, you lay down burdens that have been weighing on your spirit. Imagine a child walking with a loving father through a crowded street. The noise is overwhelming. The path is uncertain. But the child is not anxious about the destination because the father holds their hand. The child may not know where they are going, but they know who is guiding them. That is what trust does. It shifts your focus from the uncertainty of the road to the certainty of my presence. When you trust me, clarity increases. Not always all at once, but step by step. The fog begins to thin. Decisions that once felt impossible begin to feel manageable. You notice doors opening that you did not force. You encounter favor that you did not manufacture. Trust aligns you with my timing, and alignment brings flow. You may remember moments in your life when you finally surrendered something you had been struggling to control. Perhaps it was a relationship. Perhaps it was a group have. Perhaps it was an outcome you desperately wanted. And when you released it into my hands, something unexpected happened. Either the situation resolved in a way you could not have orchestrated, where your heart found peace even before circumstances changed. That is the fruit of trust. Trust does not eliminate challenges. It transforms how you walk through them. Storms may still come, but you are no longer tossed by every wave. You become anchored, rooted, steady. The same circumstances that once triggered panic now become opportunities to lean closer to me. There was a moment long ago when a man stepped out onto water because he trusted my word. The waves were real. The wind was strong. But as long as his focus remained steady, He walked where logic said he would sink. My beloved, trust does not deny reality. It transcends limitation. It allows you to step where fear once kept you frozen. When you trust me, you also discover your true identity. You realize you are not defined by temporary setbacks or fleeting opinions. You are defined by my love and my intention. Trust strengthens your confidence not in yourself alone, but in the one who formed you with purpose. If these words are settling into your spirit, if you feel peace rising where anxiety once lived, then do not keep this encouragement hidden. Bless this message with a like so it can travel farther and reach hearts that are wrestling with fear. Up this video so it rises and finds those standing at the edge of trust. Subscribe to this channel so you continue receiving the guidance I am speaking over your life. And share this message with someone who needs to be reminded that trust changes everything. My beloved child, trusting me is not weakness. It is alignment. It is strength rooted in surrender. It is courage anchored in love. When you trust me, you step into a partnership where my wisdom leads and my faithfulness sustains. Something big is waiting for you, but it unfolds most beautifully when you release control and walk hand in hand with me. Trust opens the door. Trust steady your steps, and trust will carry you into the fullness of what I have prepared. My beloved child, as trust opens the door to something big in your own life, I invite you to trust me also with what you hold in your hands. When you release a seed through Super Thanks, step into membership, or give through PayPal, the link waits for you in the video description. You are not losing, you are planting. And every seed planted in faith becomes a river that carries my voice into places you may never see. I have declared, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and I am declaring joyful harvest over you even now. This channel is a lamp on a hill, and your giving is the oil that keeps it burning brightly. Each offering becomes fire that warms cold hearts and light that pierces confusion. If you have felt peace rising in you, let gratitude move you into action. This is a divine appointment, not a coincidence. As you trust me with your seed, I will entrust you with greater increase, deeper peace, and divine protection. Do not hesitate. Trust me completely. Give now and watch how I move. My beloved child, as you move closer to what I have prepared for you, there is something you must understand with tenderness. You cannot step fully into your next season while clinging tightly to your old identity. Growth requires release. Expansion requires surrender. And becoming who you are meant to be often means letting go of who you once had to be. There was a version of you that survived difficult seasons. A version that learned to cope. A version that built walls to protect your heart. That version was necessary. It carried you through storms. It endured disappointments. It adapted to environments that demanded resilience. But not every survival strategy is meant to follow you into your future. You may feel a strange tension inside. Part of you is excited about what is ahead. Another part feels afraid to change. The familiar, even when it is limiting, can feel safe. You know how to operate within old patterns. You know how to manage expectations. You know how to shrink when needed. But the life I am calling you into requires more space than shrinking allows. Imagine a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. The cocoon once provided protection and was essential for transformation. But if the butterfly tried to remain inside once its wings formed, it would suffocate. The very place that once nurtured growth would become a prison. In the same way, the mindset and habits that once protected you may now restrict you. Letting go does not mean dishonoring your past. It means recognizing that your past was a chapter, not the whole story. You are not betraying who you were by becoming who you are meant to be. You are honoring the journey by continuing it. There are labels you have carried that no longer define you. Labels shaped by mistakes. Labels formed by other people's opinions. Labels rooted in fear or insecurity. You have sometimes introduced yourself to the world through those labels, believing they were permanent. But I never named you according to your wounds. I named you according to your purpose. You may need to release the identity of the one who always plays small to keep others comfortable. You may need to release the identity of the one who expects disappointment to avoid being hurt. You may need to release the identity of the one who doubts their worth before anyone else can question it. These roles once felt protective, but they cannot carry you forward. Growth can feel like loss because it requires shedding. Just as a tree sheds leaves in certain seasons, you must shed what no longer serves your calling. The tree does not mourn each leaf forever. It trusts that new growth will come. In the same way, you must trust that what you release makes room for what is rising. My beloved, I am not asking you to erase your history. I am asking you to allow me to redefine it. The pain you endured becomes wisdom. The mistakes you made become lessons. The fears you faced become testimonies of courage. Nothing is wasted, but it must be transformed. You cannot step boldly into a future of abundance while clinging to a mindset of scarcity. You cannot embrace new opportunities while insisting that you are unworthy. You cannot carry greater responsibility while believing you are incapable. The version of you that once struggled to survive is giving way to the version of you that will thrive. Do not resist this transformation. It may feel uncomfortable at times. You may grieve parts of yourself that once felt familiar. But remember, familiarity is not always freedom. Sometimes it is simply what you have grown used to. Trust me in this shedding process. I am not removing pieces of you to leave you empty. I am refining you to reveal your truest self. The identity I am shaping in you is stronger, freer, and more aligned with your purpose. Something big is waiting for you, and the version of you that steps into it will be confident, rooted, and unafraid to take up space. Let go gently. Release with faith. The old has served its time. The new is ready to rise. My beloved child, one of the greatest battles you face is not around you, but within you. It is the quiet war of thoughts that no one else can see. The overthinking, the replaying of conversations, the imagining of worst-case scenarios, the constant questioning of whether you are enough, whether you heard me correctly, whether you are capable of what lies ahead. This battlefield of the mind can feel exhausting. You wake up determined to trust, and within hours doubt begins to whisper. You make progress, and then a single negative thought tries to undo your confidence. You tell yourself to be strong, yet fear plants subtle seeds of uncertainty. My beloved, I see this struggle. I see how hard you are trying, and I want you to know that the presence of these thoughts does not mean you are weak. Your mind is powerful. It was designed for creativity, strategy, reflection, and growth. But when it is not anchored in truth, it can wander into places that drain you. Thoughts, when left unchecked, can build narratives that feel real even when they are not. A single worry can multiply into a story of defeat if you allow it to go unchallenged. Imagine your mind as a garden. Seeds are constantly being planted, some from experiences, some from other people's words, some from your own fears. Not every seed deserves to grow. If weeds are allowed to take root, they can choke the life out of healthy plants. In the same way, negative patterns of thinking can suffocate your peace if you nurture them unintentionally. You are not responsible for every thought that enters your mind, but you are responsible for which ones you choose to entertain. When doubt whispers, You have a choice. You can accept it as truth, or you can bring it into my presence and measure it against my promises. Ask yourself, does this thought align with who God says I am? Does it align with His faithfulness? If it does not, you do not have to give it space. I know you desire clarity. You want certainty before you move forward. But clarity often grows in stillness, not in constant mental activity. When you overanalyze every possibility, your spirit becomes noisy. And in noise, my gentle guidance can feel distant. Stillness is not inactivity. It is intentional quietness that allows you to hear me more clearly. There are times when your mind replays past mistakes, reminding you of where you fell short. It tells you that history will repeat itself. But your past does not have authority over your future. I have already redeemed your failures. I have already woven lessons from your missteps. You do not need to relive them as punishment. You may also battle comparison in your thoughts. You measure your progress against others. You question whether you are behind. But comparison distorts perspective. You cannot see the full journey of another person, and they cannot see yours. The path I designed for you is uniquely tailored. Measuring it against someone else's timeline only steals your peace. My beloved, I am inviting you to renew your mind, not in one dramatic moment, but daily. Replace fear with truth. Replace self-criticism with compassion. Replace uncertainty with trust. Speak life over yourself. When your thoughts become harsh, counter them with kindness. When they become doubtful, counter them with faith. You do not have to fight this battle alone. Invite me into your thinking. When your mind feels crowded, pause. Breathe deeply. Whisper my name. Let my presence settle the storm within. The same power that calms waves can calm your racing thoughts. The mind can either magnify fear or magnify faith. Choose to magnify faith. Choose to dwell on what is pure, hopeful, and true. As you align your thoughts with my promises, your inner world will begin to reflect peace instead of chaos. Something big is waiting for you, and your mind must become an ally, not an enemy. Guard it gently. Train it patiently. Anchor it in me. And watch how the battle begins to quiet as truth takes root. My beloved child, as you grow and move closer to what I have prepared for you, you may begin to notice something that feels unsettling. Not everyone will understand the change happening within you. Not everyone will see what you see. Not everyone will feel the stirring you feel. And at times, that misunderstanding may feel lonely. You are used to sharing your thoughts with certain people. You are used to receiving validation from familiar voices. But when I begin to shift your direction, I do not always announce it to your entire circle. The vision I place in your heart is often personal before it becomes public. It is intimate before it is visible. And because of that, others may struggle to comprehend it. Do not be discouraged by their confusion. They are responding based on the version of you they have known. When people are accustomed to a certain role you have played in their lives, change can feel threatening to them. If you have always been the quiet one, they may resist your boldness. If you have always played small, they may question your expansion. Their reaction is not necessarily rejection. It is adjustment. Imagine a tree that begins to grow taller than the fence around it. For years, it fit comfortably within the boundary. But as it stretches upward, it becomes visible beyond what once contained it. Those who only saw the smaller version may need time to adjust to the new height. Growth changes perception. There will be moments when you explain your dreams and receive blank stares. Moments when you share your plans and hear cautious responses. Moments when someone suggests you should remain where you are because it seems safer. Listen respectfully, but do not let limited vision define your path. I did not give them the blueprint I gave you. It is important to seek wise counsel, but there is a difference between wisdom and fear disguised as advice. Some people project their own insecurities onto your journey. They speak from their limitations, not from my promises. You must learn to discern the difference. This does not mean you become defensive or distant. It means you become rooted. When your identity is anchored in me, misunderstanding does not shake you as deeply. You no longer require universal approval to move forward. My approval becomes enough. Even those closest to you may struggle to understand at first. Remember, when a seed is planted underground, no one sees the roots forming. If you tried to describe what is happening beneath the surface, it would be difficult to prove. But the growth is real nonetheless. In time, when the plant breaks through the soil, understanding often follows visibility. My beloved, I am not isolating you. I am strengthening your confidence. There are new connections that will align with where you are going. There are people who will recognize the calling on your life because they are walking in similar purpose. But you must not shrink back in order to remain comfortable in old circles. Growth sometimes narrows your path before it expands your impact. There may be seasons where you feel misunderstood, but you are never unseen by me. I know the thoughts you wrestle with. I know the courage it takes to follow a direction others cannot yet see. And I honor that courage. You not allow loneliness to become doubt. Instead, let it become intimacy with me. In the quiet moments when you feel misunderstood, draw closer to my voice. I will remind you of who you are. I will confirm the path I have set before you. Something big is waiting for you, and not everyone will recognize it before it unfolds. That is not your burden to carry. Your responsibility is obedience, not universal agreement. Stand firm in what I have placed in your heart. Walk gently but confidently. Understanding will come in time. And even when it does not, my presence is enough to guide you forward into everything I have prepared. My beloved child, there is a strength within you that you have not fully discovered yet. You have seen glimpses of it, but you have not given it the credit it deserves. You still look at yourself and see limitations. You still focus on moments of weakness. But I see something deeper. I see resilience that has been forged quietly through every trial you have endured. You often imagine strength as something bold and unshakable, something that never trembles. But true strength is not the absence of trembling. It is the decision to stand even when your knees feel weak. It is choosing to rise after disappointment. It is continuing forward when you would rather retreat. Strength is not loud. It is steady. Think about the seasons you once feared would break you. The heartbreak that felt unbearable. The uncertainty that kept you awake at night. The setbacks that made you question your direction. At the time, you felt fragile. You felt overwhelmed. But you endured. You adapted. You learned. You grew. That growth did not always feel dramatic, but it was real. You survived moments that you once thought would define the end of your story. You navigated storms that seemed larger than your capacity. And each time, something inside you expanded. You may not have noticed it immediately, but endurance was being built. Perspective was being shaped. Courage was being strengthened. Strength is formed under pressure. Just as muscles grow when resistance challenges them, your inner resilience has been developed through adversity. When life pressed against you, you did not disappear. You adjusted. You recalibrated. You kept breathing. You kept hoping, even when hope felt small. Those choices mattered. There were times you wanted to give up, times when the weight felt too heavy. Yet even in your lowest moments, you did not surrender completely. Something inside you kept whispering to try again, to stand one more time, to take one more step. That whisper was not accidental. It was the strength I placed within you from the beginning. Imagine iron being shaped into a blade. It must pass through fire. It must endure intense heat and repeated shaping. Without the fire, it would remain soft and fragile. The very process that feels harsh is what creates durability. In the same way, the heat of your experiences has refined you. You are not the same person you were before those trials. You are sharper, wiser, more discerning. You have learned patience through waiting when answers did not come quickly. You have learned humility through mistakes that humbled you. You have learned empathy through pain that opened your heart to others. These qualities are forms of strength. They are not weaknesses. They are depth. My beloved, you underestimate how far you have come. You focus on what you still lack instead of acknowledging what you have gained. You see your fears and forget your victories. But I remember every time you chose faith over despair. I remember every time you forgave when bitterness seemed easier. I remember every quiet act of courage that no one else noticed. The reason something greater can be entrusted to you is because you have been prepared through smaller battles. The strength you developed in private seasons will support you in public moments. The endurance you built in silence will carry you through visible challenges. You are not stepping into your future untrained. You not confuse exhaustion with weakness. Even the strongest grow tired when they have carried much. Rest does not diminish strength. He restores it. Allow yourself grace when you feel weary. Strength is not about constant striving. It is about steady perseverance. You have faced rejection and still dared to hope. You have experienced delay and still chose to trust. You have encountered failure and still decided to try again. That is strength. Quite persistent, resilient strength. Something big is waiting for you, and it requires the very qualities you have been developing all along. The challenges you endured were not random obstacles. They were shaping tools. They were building capacity within you so that when opportunity arrives, you will not crumble under its weight. Stand tall, my beloved. Even if your voice shakes, even if your confidence feels fragile, you carry more strength than you realize. And when the moment comes to step fully into what I have prepared, you will discover that the power to endure, to lead, to rise, has been within you all along, because I placed it there. My beloved child, there are moments when the calling ahead of you feels larger than your capability. You sense that something significant is waiting, yet a quiet voice inside you whispers, "Who am I to step into this? I am not ready. I am not qualified. There are others who could do this better." I hear those thoughts, and I want to speak gently but clearly to your heart. You measure qualification by experience, by perfection, by comparison. You look at your past mistakes and assume they disqualify you. You look at your weaknesses and assume they limit you. But I do not evaluate you the way you evaluate yourself. I do not call you based solely on your resume of achievements. I call you based on the design I placed within you. Many times, the very areas where you feel least confident are the spaces where I intend to display my strength. If you felt completely self-sufficient, you might forget your dependence on me. If you felt fully capable in your own power, you might rely only on yourself. But when you feel unqualified, you lean closer to me. And in that closeness, transformation happens. Think about the times you have been given responsibility that initially intimidated you. Perhaps it was a new job, a new role, a new season of life. At first, you doubted yourself. You questioned whether you could handle it. Yet as you stepped into it, you grew. Skills developed. Confidence increased. What once felt overwhelming became manageable. Growth often follows responsibility, not the other way around. You assume that before you say yes, you must feel completely prepared. But preparation often unfolds after obedience. I do not always give you the full strength for a journey before you begin walking. I give you enough for the next step. As you move, more is revealed. As you trust, more is entrusted. Your mistakes do not disqualify you. They educate you. They refine your character. They deepen your humility. The lessons you learn through failure are part of your preparation. You understand compassion because you have needed grace. You understand perseverance because you have struggled. These experiences add depth, not deficiency. There is a difference between humility and self-rejection. Humility recognizes dependence on me. Self-rejection denies the gifts I have given you. When you constantly tell yourself that you are incapable, you are overlooking the intentional way I formed you. I did not create you accidentally. I shaped you with purpose woven into your identity. You may look at others and see qualities you admire, but you do not see the full picture of their journey. You do not see their hidden doubts or quiet struggles. Comparison distorts reality. It convinces you that you are behind when, in truth, you are simply on a different path. My beloved, I do not require perfection from you. I require willingness. I do not need you to have every answer. I need you to trust that I will guide you. When I call you towards something greater, I am not overlooking your limitations. I am committing to walk with you through them. Imagine a craftsman choosing a piece of wood that appears flawed. The knots and imperfections are visible. Others might discard it. But the craftsman sees potential. He knows how to shape it, how to smooth it, how to transform it into something beautiful and functional. The wood does not shape itself. It cooperates with the process. In the same way, you are not responsible for perfecting yourself before stepping forward. You are responsible for allowing me to shape you. Do not wait until you feel worthy. Worthiness is not the requirement. Obedience is. The very fact that you feel the weight of responsibility shows your heart is tender and sincere. But tenderness is strength. Something big is waiting for you, and it is not reserved for the flawless. It is prepared for the willing. You are not unqualified in my eyes. You are chosen, shaped, and guided. Step forward, even if your confidence feels small. I will supply what you lack. I will strengthen what feels weak. And you will discover that what you once viewed as inadequacy was simply the doorway to deeper dependence and greater growth. My beloved child, there is a shift happening right now, even if you cannot fully explain it. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. But it is real. You may feel it as a quiet awareness that something is changing inside you. The way you think is evolving. The way you respond is maturing. The things that once satisfied you no longer hold the same appeal. This is not confusion. This is transition. You are not the same person you were even a few months ago. Situations that once overwhelmed you now meet a calmer response. Words that once wounded you deeply no longer pierce the same way. You are growing, and growth always signals movement. When growth begins internally, external changes soon follow. A shift does not always begin with visible results. It begins with alignment. I am aligning your heart with your purpose. I am adjusting your perspective so you can see differently. I am strengthening your boundaries so you can protect your peace. These adjustments may feel subtle, but they are foundational. You may sense that certain relationships are naturally repositioning. Some connections are deepening. Others are quietly fading. This is not accidental. As your calling becomes clearer, your circle often adjusts to match your direction. Not everyone is meant to walk every season with you. Release without bitterness. Trust that I am refining your environment to support where you are going. You may also feel an increased awareness of what drains you and what energizes you. You are becoming more sensitive to misalignment. Activities that once felt normal may now feel heavy. Conversations that once seemed harmless may now feel limiting. This is not judgment. It is discernment. I am sharpening your ability to recognize what nourishes your spirit and what hinders it. There may be moments when this shift feels uncomfortable. You might feel like you are standing between two versions of yourself. The old habits are still familiar, but they no longer fit. The new direction feels promising, but it requires courage. This tension is not a sign of instability. It is a sign of transformation. Imagine a river that changes course gradually. At first, the shift is barely noticeable. The water begins to lean in a slightly different direction. Over time, that small change shapes an entirely new path. Landscapes adjust. Shorelines transform. What once flowed one way now moves another. That is what is happening in your life. The current is shifting. Do not rush this process. Shifts require patience. If you attempt to force outcomes before alignment is complete, you may create unnecessary strain. Instead, remain attentive. Listen closely to my guidance. When you feel prompted to act, act with faith. When you sense the need to wait, wait with trust. You might notice new ideas emerging in your mind. New desires forming in your heart. New opportunities appearing that would not have fit you before. These are signs that your capacity is increasing. I would not place new vision within you if you were not ready to carry it. The shift may also expose areas that still need healing. As you move closer to purpose, unresolved fears may surface. Old insecurities may attempt to reappear. This is not regression. It is refinement. I allow these areas to rise so they can be addressed before you step fully into what awaits you. My beloved, do not fear this season of transition. You are not losing stability. You are gaining clarity. You are not being uprooted without care. You are being transplanted into richer soil. The ground may feel unfamiliar for a moment, but it is fertile. Something big is waiting for you, and this shift is preparation. It is the gentle turning of your life toward greater impact. It is the quiet rearranging of circumstances so that when the opportunity arrives, you will be ready. Remain steady. Remain open. Remain courageous. The shift is not random. It is intentional, and it is leading you exactly where you are meant to go. My beloved child, you have come too far to retreat now. You have endured the stretching. You have faced the doubt. You have walked through the waiting. And now, as the edge of breakthrough draws near, there may be a temptation rising within you to shrink back. I must speak clearly to your spirit. Do not retreat at the threshold of promise. There is a particular kind of resistance that appears when you are closest to stepping into something greater. It feels like intensified doubt. It feels like sudden fatigue. It feels like questioning everything you once felt certain about. But this resistance is not a sign to turn around. It is often confirmation that you are near transition. Think of a woman in labor. The pain intensifies just before birth. The pressure increases. The urge to give up becomes strong. Yet that very intensity signals that new life is about to emerge. If you stopped pushing because the pain grew stronger, the promise would remain unseen. In the same way, the pressure you feel now is not punishment. It is progression. You may feel exposed. You may feel vulnerable. Stepping forward requires courage, and courage always feels risky. The old version of you whispers that it would be easier to stay quiet, to stay small, to stay unnoticed. But you were not created to live hidden from your calling. You were formed to rise. Shrinking back feels safe in the moment. It protects you from criticism. It shields you from failure. It allows you to avoid discomfort. But it also keeps you from fulfillment. Safety without growth becomes confinement. Comfort without purpose becomes stagnation. My beloved, the very fact that fear is pressing harder now means something valuable is at stake. Ordinary steps do not provoke intense resistance. Significant steps do. The enemy of your destiny hopes that you will misinterpret this pressure as a warning to stop. But I am telling you it is a sign to persevere. You have been strengthened for this moment. Every lesson you learned, every trial you endured, every quiet prayer you whispered has prepared you. You are not standing at this edge untrained. You are equipped more than you realize. When you feel the urge to withdraw, pause and breathe. Remind yourself why you began. Recall the whisper that stirred your heart at the start of this journey. That whisper has not disappeared. It is still guiding you. The intensity you feel now is simply the final stretch before the door opens wider. Do not allow temporary discomfort to cancel long-term purpose. Do not allow the fear of being seen to silence the calling to step forward. I am with you in this moment. I am not asking you to move alone. I am strengthening your spine. I am steadying your steps. If these words are igniting courage within you, if you sense that you are standing at your own threshold, then let this message reach beyond you. Bless this message with a like so it can encourage others who are on the verge of breakthrough. Hype this video so it rises and finds those who are tempted to retreat just before their promise unfolds. Subscribe to this channel so you continue to receive the strength and direction I am speaking over your life. And share this message with someone who needs a reminder not to shrink back now. My beloved child, this is not the time to doubt your progress. This is the time to lean into faith. The pressure you feel is not a wall blocking you. It is the final push before expansion. Stand firm. Lift your head. Keep moving forward. Something big is waiting for you, and you are too close to turn around. My beloved, you are too close to your breakthrough to shrink back, and neither is this mission. Something big is waiting, not only for you, but for the countless souls standing at their own threshold of promise. When you give through Super Thanks, become a member, or sow through PayPal, the link is in the video description, you push this message beyond barriers and into hearts on the verge of surrender. This is seed time at the edge of harvest. Have I not said that one plants, another waters, but I give the increase? When you sow, I breathe upon it. Your generosity becomes strength to the weary and courage to the trembling. The resistance you feel before giving is the same resistance that appears before breakthrough. Push past it. I will rebuke the devourer for your sake and open doors no one can shut. This is not the hour to retreat in fear. It is the hour to advance in faith. Step forward. So now, be part of the breakthrough. My beloved child, there is a bigger picture unfolding over your life, one that stretches far beyond the moments you are currently experiencing. You are living inside a single chapter, sometimes even inside a single page, and it is difficult for you to imagine how this page connects to the entire story. But I see the beginning and the end at the same time. I see how each scene builds towards something greater. You tend to judge your journey by what you can immediately measure. If progress is visible, you feel confident. If outcomes are delayed, you feel uncertain. But the most significant movements in your life often happen beyond your sight. What seems disconnected is, in truth, deeply intertwined. Imagine standing very close to a massive painting. Your face is inches away from the canvas. All you can see are bold strokes of color that do not seem to make sense. You may even see dark patches and assume the painting is flawed. But if you step back far enough, the strokes blend into form. The dark patches add depth. The entire masterpiece reveals intention. Right now, you are standing very close to your own canvas. You cannot yet see how certain disappointments protected you from misalignment. You cannot see how specific delays refined your character. You cannot see how conversations that felt ordinary planted seeds for future opportunities. But I see how they connect. I see how one small act of faith created a ripple that will reach farther than you imagine. There are relationships forming in the background of your life that will matter in the future. There are skills you are developing now that will become essential later. There are internal changes happening within you that are preparing you for influence you cannot yet envision. You may think you are in a quiet season, but quiet does not mean inactive. It often means preparation. When you experience setbacks, you are tempted to believe they are isolated failures. But setbacks are often redirections. They adjust your course so you can arrive at the right destination. If one piece were removed from a puzzle, the entire image would feel incomplete. In the same way, even the seasons that seem painful have a place in your story. My beloved, I am weaving your life together with precision. I am not reacting to circumstances as they happen. I am orchestrating them with purpose. The doors that closed, the ones that opened, the ones that are still waiting, all are part of a greater arrangement. You do not have to force the picture to make sense right now. Sometimes you wish I would show you the final outcome so you could relax. But if you saw the entire path, you might become overwhelmed. You might try to control what requires surrender. So I guide you gently, one step at a time. I allow you to experience growth gradually, so your faith strengthens steadily. Think of a tapestry being woven from many threads. From behind, the threads look tangled. Colors overlap in ways that seem random. It may even look messy. But from the front, the design is deliberate and beautiful. You are currently viewing the underside of your tapestry. I see the finished pattern. You may question whether your small decisions truly matter, but they do. Every act of obedience, every moment you choose integrity over convenience, every time you resist fear and lean into trust, these are threads in your design. Small steps accumulate into significant transformation. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are not stuck in a meaningless loop. You are moving within a larger narrative that is unfolding at the right pace. The very things you are unsure about now will become testimonies of guidance later. Something big is waiting for you, and it is not separate from where you are now. It is being built through your current season. The bigger picture includes your struggles, your growth, your patience, your courage. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is accidental. Trust the one who sees the whole canvas. Trust the artist who understands every brushstroke. In time, you will step back and realize that even the confusing moments had purpose. And you will see that the bigger picture was always more beautiful than you could have imagined. My beloved child, I know how the unknown unsettles you. When you cannot see what is ahead, your thoughts begin to race. You try to predict outcomes. You try to prepare for every possibility. You try to secure certainty before you move. But the path I often lead you on is not illuminated all at once. It unfolds gradually, step by step, inviting you into deeper trust. The unknown feels intimidating because you are used to relying on what you can measure. You prefer clarity over ambiguity. You prefer guarantees over risk. But faith does not grow in spaces where everything is certain. It grows where dependence is required. And dependence draws you closer to me. Imagine walking through a valley covered in thick morning fog. You can only see a few feet in front of you. The path beyond is hidden. If you focus only on the fog, you may feel paralyzed. But if you focus on the ground beneath your feet, you realize you can still take the next step. You do not need to see the entire valley to move forward. You only need enough light for the step you are on. That is how I guide you. I rarely reveal the entire map because the journey itself shapes you. If you saw every twist and turn ahead of time, you might become overwhelmed. You might attempt to control what must be trusted. So I offer you daily guidance instead of distant guarantees. The unknown is not empty space. It is territory where I am already present. Before you arrive at a future moment, I am there. Before a challenge emerges, I have already considered it. Before an opportunity appears, I have already aligned the pieces. Nothing surprises me. Nothing catches me unprepared. You often fill the unknown with fear. Your mind imagines worst-case scenarios. It replays old disappointments and assumes they will repeat. But the future is not obligated to mirror your past. Just because something hurt you before does not mean it will define what lies ahead. There have been seasons when you stepped into uncertainty before. New jobs, new environments, new responsibilities. At first, they felt uncomfortable. But over time, you adapted. You grew. You discovered strengths you did not know you had. Looking back, you can see how I carried you through those transitions. The same faithfulness remains. Trusting me in the unknown does not mean ignoring wisdom or refusing to plan. It means holding your plans with open hands. It means saying, "Guide me," rather than insisting, "This must happen my way." It means allowing flexibility when I redirect your steps. Sometimes the unknown is where your greatest growth occurs. When you cannot rely on familiarity, you lean more intentionally on me. When your confidence in yourself feels limited, your confidence in me can deepen. The fog that obscures your vision also softens your pride. It reminds you that you are not meant to navigate life alone. My beloved, the unknown can also hold beauty. Surprises you could not have anticipated. Joys you did not know to pray for. Connections you could not have arranged. If you demand full visibility before moving, you may miss experiences that require trust to access. When fear begins to rise, pause. Remember my character. I am not reckless with your life. I do not lead you into confusion without guidance. I do not abandon you in transition. I walk beside you. I speak gently. I adjust your course when needed. Something big is waiting for you, and part of it lies beyond what you currently understand. But you do not need to understand everything to move forward. You need willingness. You need trust. You need the courage to take the next step even when the horizon is hidden. Walk with me through the fog. Focus on the ground beneath your feet. Listen for my voice in the quiet. The unknown is not a threat to your destiny. It is the pathway to it. And as you continue to trust me step by step, you will find that what once felt uncertain becomes a testimony of my faithful guidance in your life. My beloved child, when you hear the word obedience, I know it can sometimes feel heavy. It can sound like restriction, like rules, like surrendering your desires. But obedience, when it flows from love and trust, is not about control. It is about alignment. And alignment is where true blessing begins to unfold in your life. Obedience is not me demanding something from you to prove your loyalty. It is me guiding you toward what will protect, strengthen, and elevate you. When I nudge your heart to step forward, to let go, to begin, or to pause, it is always because I see a broader horizon than you can see. I see the outcome. I see the hidden turns in the road. I see what lies beyond the immediate choice in front of you. You often think blessing means instant reward, immediate comfort, visible success. But the blessing attached to obedience is often deeper than that. It is peace that settles in your spirit even when circumstances remain uncertain. It is clarity that solely replaces confusion. It is protection from unseen harm. It is growth that prepares you for what you once prayed for. Imagine a river flowing steadily toward the sea. When you move in the same direction as the current, you experience momentum. There is a sense of ease. But if you try to swim against it, you expend unnecessary energy. You become tired more quickly. Obedience is like moving with the current of my will. It positions you where grace carries you forward. There will be times when obedience feels inconvenient, when doing what is right requires sacrifice, when choosing integrity costs you approval or temporary advantage. In those moments, you may question whether it is worth it. But every act of obedience builds something within you that no one can take away: character, discipline, trust, and resilience. Small acts of obedience matter more than you realize. The quiet decision to speak truth when it would be easier to stay silent. The choice to forgive when resentment feels justified. The discipline to remain faithful in responsibilities that seem unnoticed. These choices shape your foundation, and foundation determines how much you can carry in the future. My beloved, there are blessings you cannot receive if you remain misaligned. Not because I am withholding, but because misalignment creates instability. Just as a building cannot stand securely on a crooked base, your life cannot fully support the weight of greater purpose without alignment. Obedience corrects the angle. It steadies the structure. You may not always understand my instructions immediately. There may be moments when you wish I would explain every detail before you act. But trust grows when you step forward even without full explanation. As you obey, understanding often follows. Insight increases. Confidence strengthens. Obedience also guards your heart from distraction. There are opportunities that look appealing but are not meant for you. There are paths that appear faster but lead away from your calling. When you remain attentive to my voice, you avoid detours that would drain your time and energy. The blessing attached to obedience is not only external, it is internal transformation. You become more grounded, more peaceful, more assured. You begin to recognize my guidance more quickly. Your discernment sharpens. Your trust deepens. Something big is waiting for you, and obedience is the pathway that keeps you aligned with it. Each time you say yes to my direction, you are stepping into a future shaped by wisdom rather than impulse. You are building a life anchored in purpose rather than reaction. Do not fear obedience. It is not the loss of freedom, it is the discovery of it. It frees you from regret. It frees you from chaos. It frees you from chasing what was never meant for you. Stay attentive, my beloved. Stay willing. Continue responding to my gentle guidance. The blessing attached to obedience will unfold not only in what you receive, but in who you become. And who you are becoming is stronger, wiser, and more aligned than you have ever been before. My beloved child, There are thoughts you have entertained for so long that they feel like truth. Doubt has whispered to you repeatedly, and over time, you have unknowingly formed agreements with it. You have nodded quietly when it said you were not ready. You have accepted its suggestion that you are behind. You have allowed it to convince you that something big could be for others, but not for you. Today, I am calling you to break that agreement. Doubt is not merely a passing thought. It becomes powerful when you partner with it, when you repeat it, when you build decisions around it, when you let it shape your identity. But doubt does not have authority over your life unless you grant it space. You may not realize how subtly it has influenced you. It sounds reasonable. It sounds cautious. It says be realistic. It says don't expect too much. It says protect yourself from disappointment. And while wisdom is valuable, doubt disguises fear as practicality. It lowers your expectations so you will not have to risk hope. My beloved, I have not designed you to live in agreement with limitation. There is a difference between humility and self-diminishment. Humility recognizes dependence on me. Self-diminishment denies the gifts I placed inside you. When you constantly rehearse your weaknesses without remembering my strength, you distort your perspective. Breaking agreement with doubt begins in your mind. It requires awareness. The next time a thought arises that says, "You cannot do this," pause. Ask yourself whether that thought aligns with my promises. Ask whether it reflects my character. I do not call you toward growth while simultaneously declaring you incapable of it. Imagine carrying a contract you signed long ago without reading carefully. The contract states that you will always expect the worst, that you will never risk boldly, that you will always assume others are more qualified. You have carried that contract in your heart, believing it was necessary for survival. But you have the authority to tear it up. You are not defined by past mistakes. You are not bound by previous failures. You are not permanently limited by moments when you lacked confidence. Those were chapters, not conclusions. I see the whole story, and the next chapters require courage, not doubt. There will be evidence that challenges doubt if you look closely. Remember times when you succeeded despite fear. Remember when you stepped forward and discovered strength you did not know you had. Remember when doors opened that you never imagined possible. Doubt ignored those moments, but they happened. Breaking agreement with doubt does not mean pretending you never feel uncertain. It means choosing not to let uncertainty dictate your direction. It means acknowledging fear but not bowing to it. It means speaking truth over yourself even when your emotions fluctuate. My beloved, your words matter. The way you speak about your future shapes how you approach it. If you constantly declare defeat before beginning, you weaken your own resolve. But when you speak life, when you affirm that I am guiding you, when you declare that you are growing and capable, your spirit aligns with possibility. Something big is waiting for you, but doubt will try to convince you to disqualify yourself before you even arrive. Do not allow it to rob you of what I have prepared. Hear out the contract of limitation. Release the narrative that keeps you small. Stand in agreement with my truth instead. You are chosen. You are growing. You are being prepared. You are capable with my help. Let those words settle into your heart. Doubt may attempt to return, but you do not have to entertain it. Each time it speaks, remind yourself who you belong to. Remind yourself of my faithfulness. Remind yourself that growth requires courage. Break agreement with doubt, my beloved. Align with truth. The future ahead of you is not shaped by fear, but by faith. And faith will carry you farther than doubt ever could. My beloved child, When you think about the something big waiting for you, your heart can feel both excited and overwhelmed at the same time. You picture something significant, something impactful, something beyond what you have known. And because it feels big, you assume it must require a massive leap. You imagine one bold, flawless move that changes everything overnight. But I want to gently correct that belief. The greatest transformations in your life will be built through small, faithful steps. You are not asked to conquer the entire mountain in one breath. You are asked to take the next step in front of you. The size of your calling does not determine the size of your first move. Often, the beginning is simple, fine, almost unimpressive. Yet within that small act lies the seed of something extraordinary. Imagine standing at the base of a staircase that disappears into the clouds. You cannot see the top. If you focus on the height alone, fear may freeze you. But if you look only at the next step, it becomes manageable. One step does not require heroic strength. It requires willingness. It requires trust that the staircase continues even when you cannot see the end. You sometimes delay action because you feel unprepared. You tell yourself that once you feel braver, more skilled, more confident, then you will begin. But confidence is not a prerequisite for movement. It is a byproduct of it. Each small step strengthens your belief in what is possible. Each small act of obedience builds momentum. Think of how a river carves its way through rock. It does not do so in a single dramatic surge. It flows steadily day after day, year after year. The persistence of small movements reshapes landscapes. In the same way, your daily choices, though they may seem minor, are shaping your future. Small steps protect you from burnout. If you attempted to carry everything at once, you would become exhausted. But when you move gradually, you build endurance. You develop discipline. You strengthen your character in ways that can sustain larger responsibilities later. You may feel that your current efforts are too modest to matter. You may look at others who seem to be making bold moves and question your pace. But do not measure your journey against someone else's highlight moments. What you cannot see are their small steps, their quiet disciplines, their unseen perseverance. Every visible breakthrough is supported by invisible consistency. My beloved, do not despise the season of beginning. The first draft may be imperfect. The first attempt may feel awkward. The first conversation may be uncertain. But action breaks fear's grip. Action turns intention into reality. There will be days when progress feels invisible, when you wonder whether your efforts are making any difference at all. But remember that roots grow beneath the soil long before branches stretch toward the sky. Just because you cannot see growth immediately does not mean it is not happening. Something big is waiting for you, but it is reached through daily faithfulness. Each time you wake up and choose discipline over distraction, you take a step. Each time you respond with courage instead of retreating into comfort, you take a step. Each time you trust me in a small decision, you are building strength for greater ones. Do not overwhelm yourself with the weight of the entire journey. Focus on what I am asking of you today. The next phone call, the next application, the next habit, the next prayer. These small steps accumulate into transformation. Progress is not about dramatic speed. It is about steady direction. As long as you are moving toward alignment, even slowly, you are advancing. The path does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Take the next step, my beloved. Then take another tomorrow. Let small acts of obedience become your rhythm. Over time, you will look back and realize that what once seemed insignificant was building something far greater than you imagined. The power of small steps will carry you faithfully into the fullness of what I have prepared. My beloved child, there is a harvest ahead of you that you cannot yet fully see, but it is real, and it is growing even now. You have been planting seeds for longer than you realize. Every act of obedience, every moment of restraint, every time you chose integrity over convenience, every quiet prayer whispered in faith, these were seeds. And seeds, when planted in trust, do not disappear. They take root. You may look at your life and wonder where the results are. You may scan the horizon and feel as though the field still looks empty. But harvest does not appear overnight. There is a sacred rhythm to growth. First comes planting, then comes watering, then comes waiting. And only after unseen development does fruit begin to rise above the soil. Consider a farmer who sows his field. After he covers the seeds with soil, the land looks unchanged. Days pass, weeks pass. The surface gives no immediate evidence of progress. Yet beneath that quiet ground, life is forming. Roots are pushing downward before shoots push upward. Strength is developing where no one can see it. In the same way, your unseen faithfulness is building something that will eventually become visible. You have sown patience in seasons that tested your endurance. You have sown forgiveness when resentment would have been easier. You have sown discipline when distraction called your name. You have sown generosity even when your own resources felt limited. These seeds are not forgotten. I am attentive to every one of them. The harvest that awaits you is not limited to material reward. It is deeper than that. It is the fulfillment that comes from alignment. It is the peace that settles in your heart when you realize you stayed the course. It is the joy of seeing growth where once there was struggle. It is the confidence that rises because you know you did not quit when quitting was tempting. There will be visible fruit as well. Doors will open that reflect the character you built in private. Opportunities will arise that match the capacity you developed through small steps. Relationships will strengthen because you invested consistently. Influence will expand because you remain faithful in obscurity. What once felt unnoticed will become undeniable. You may worry that you planted too late, that others are ahead of you, that your season of reaping has already passed. But I am not governed by human comparison. I am the author of your timeline. If you have been faithful with what you were given, you are not behind. Your harvest is not canceled because someone else's appears sooner. Harvest also requires readiness. If fruit appeared before the roots were strong, the plant would collapse under its own weight. In the same way, I allow your internal growth to mature before external increase arrives. Capacity must precede abundance, and your capacity has been expanding quietly through every challenge you endured. When the first signs of harvest appear, they may seem small: a breakthrough conversation, a new opportunity, a subtle shift in your circumstances. Do not overlook these beginnings. They are confirmation that growth has been happening beneath the surface all along. My beloved, the harvest is not meant only for your benefit. Fruit carries seeds within it. The blessing you receive will nourish others. Your story will strengthen someone who is still waiting. Your endurance will inspire those who feel tempted to give up. The impact of your faithfulness will extend beyond what you can measure. Guard your heart against impatience. Impatience can tempt you to abandon the field too soon. It can convince you that nothing is happening and that your effort was in vain. But trust the rhythm I have established. There is a time for planting and a time for reaping. Something big is waiting for you, and it includes a harvest that reflects every seed you planted in faith. Continue tending your field. Continue watering with trust. Continue showing up with consistency. Lift your eyes with expectation, my beloved. The soil is stirring. The roots are strong. The season of visible fruit approaches. And when it comes, you will see that every quiet act of obedience was building toward a harvest more beautiful and abundant than you could have imagined. My beloved child, as you move closer to what I have prepared for you, there is one thing I ask of you now: prepare your heart. Preparation is not only about external readiness, it is about internal alignment. Before doors open outwardly, space must be made inwardly. You have been focused on steps, on growth, on endurance. But now I am inviting you into a deeper posture of readiness. Preparation of the heart means clearing away distractions that would compete with your calling. It means releasing resentment that would cloud your vision. It means letting go of attachments that no longer serve your purpose. Imagine preparing a house to welcome an honored guest. You would clean what has been neglected. You would rearrange what is out of place. You would create space so the guest feels welcomed. In the same way, I am asking you to prepare the inner rooms of your heart. Not because I am distant, but because what I am bringing into your life requires room. Examine your thoughts. Are there patterns that need renewal? Examine your motives. Are there desires rooted in comparison rather than calling? Examine your habits. Are they strengthening you or weakening you? This is not about condemnation. It is about readiness. Something big is waiting for you. But if your heart is cluttered with fear, insecurity, or unresolved pain, you may struggle to carry it well. Preparation ensures that when opportunity arrives, you do not sabotage it with old patterns. This is a sacred moment. Do not rush past it. Sit quietly with me. Invite me to search your heart gently. Where there is pride, let humility grow. Where there is doubt, let truth take root. Where there is anxiety, let trust expand. You may need to forgive someone who wounded you. You may need to release expectations that no longer align with your direction. You may need to surrender timelines you have clung to tightly. Preparation often involves letting go before receiving. My beloved, readiness is not perfection. It is openness. It is a willingness to be shaped. It is a posture that says, I am available. When your heart is open, I can pour more into you. When your spirit is uncluttered, you can discern more clearly. If you feel that this message is aligning your heart, if you sense that you are in a season of preparation, then do not keep this encouragement to yourself. Bless this message with a like so it can reach others who are standing on the edge of their next season. Hype this video so it rises and finds hearts that need to prepare for what is coming. Subscribe to this channel so you continue receiving the guidance I am speaking into your journey. And share this message with someone who needs to ready their heart for something greater. Preparation also means expectancy. Do not prepare with dread. Prepare with hope. When a farmer tills the soil, he does so believing that seeds will grow. When you align your heart, do so believing that what is coming is good. There is a refining happening within you right now. It may feel subtle. It may even feel uncomfortable. But it is necessary. I am strengthening your foundation so that when increase arrives, you remain steady. Take this time seriously but not fearfully. Preparation is a gift. It allows you to receive without being overwhelmed. It ensures that when the moment comes, you are not scrambling, you are ready. Something big is waiting for you, my beloved. Prepare your heart to receive it fully. Clear the space. Renew your mind. Open your spirit. What is coming will require a steady heart, and you are being shaped for it even now. My beloved child, as you prepare your heart for what is coming, prepare also your hands to sow. Something big is waiting, and your readiness includes generosity. When you support this mission through super thanks, membership, or a PayPal offering, the PayPal link is in the description, you are tilling soil far beyond your own field. Your seed becomes rain to dry ground, oil to empty vessels, bread multiplied in my hands. I am the Lord who gives seed to the sower and bread for food, and I multiply what is surrendered to me. Let your giving be an act of expectancy, not obligation. This is sacred ground. Each gift clears space for my word to echo into new territories and reach hearts preparing for their own next season. I will honor your obedience with provision, stability, and supernatural alignment. Do not delay your seed in a season of preparation. Sow in faith. Give with hope. Act now. My beloved child, as you step closer to the fulfillment of what I have prepared, you may begin to notice that certain things are quietly leaving your life. Some relationships feel different. Some opportunities fade without explanation. Some desires lose their intensity. And you may ask, why does it feel like things are being taken away just as I am moving forward? Listen carefully to me. I am not taking from you to harm you. I am removing what no longer fits the future I am shaping for you. Growth always requires adjustment. When a child outgrows clothing, the garment that once fit perfectly becomes restrictive. It is not that the clothing was bad. It simply no longer matches the size of the one wearing it. In the same way, there are aspects of your life that once served you well but cannot accompany you into the next season. Removal can feel like loss because you have formed attachments. You invested time, emotion, and energy. Even if something was imperfect, it was familiar. Familiarity brings comfort. But comfort is not always alignment. And I love you too much to allow you to remain confined by what is comfortable but limiting. Imagine a sculptor shaping a block of stone. To reveal the masterpiece within, pieces must be chipped away. From the stone's perspective, it may feel like destruction. But from the sculptor's perspective, it is revelation. I am chiseling away what obscures the fullness of who you are becoming. There are habits that once helped you survive difficult seasons but are no longer necessary. There are thought patterns that once protected you but now hinder your confidence. There are connections that once felt meaningful but now distract you from your calling. When these begin to fade, do not panic. Observe with discernment. You may question why certain doors close without warning, why conversations end, why invitations cease. But I see the weight those attachments would carry into your future. I see how they would compete for your focus. I see how they would dilute your energy. So I gently loosen them from your grasp. Pruning is not punishment. It is preparation. When a gardener trims branches from a tree, it may look like reduction. The tree appears smaller for a time, but pruning allows more light to reach the core. It strengthens the structure. It prepares the tree to bear greater fruit. Without pruning, growth becomes tangled and unbalanced. My beloved, I am preparing you to carry more. And to carry more, you must weigh less. You cannot bring every old pattern, every old insecurity, every old attachment into the expansion ahead. Some things must be released so you can move freely. You may grieve what is leaving. That grief is human. Do not suppress it. But do not interpret it as evidence that something is wrong. Endings are often sacred transitions. What I remove, I do not remove carelessly. I remove with intention. There will be moments when you are tempted to cling tightly to what is slipping away. You may try to restore what I am allowing to fade. But forcing what no longer fits will only create strain. Trust that when something departs without chaos, it may be my quiet guidance repositioning you. Something big is waiting for you. and it requires clarity of heart and focus of mind. I am creating space within you and around you. Space for new relationships that align with your direction. Space for opportunities that match your maturity. Space for peace where anxiety once lived. In time, you will look back and understand. You will see how what felt like subtraction was actually strategic alignment. You will recognize that the removal prevented misalignment and opened room for greater blessing. Trust the process, my beloved. Trust the pruning. Trust that I am not dismantling your life. I am refining it. What remains will be stronger. What arrives will be better suited. And what you step into next will fit the person you are becoming. Release gently. Hold loosely. Walk forward confidently. I am removing what no longer fits so that you can fully embrace what truly belongs in your next season. My beloved child, after long seasons of waiting, refining, stretching, and trusting, there comes a moment when the pace begins to change. It may feel sudden to you. It may seem as though doors that once resisted you now open with surprising ease. Opportunities that once felt distant begin to move closer. Conversations align. Resources appear. Momentum builds. And you may wonder how everything can shift so quickly after moving so slowly for so long. But understand this clearly. Acceleration is not random. It is preparation meeting appointed timing. For a long while, you felt hidden. You felt as though progress was slow, almost invisible. You questioned whether anything was truly moving forward. But beneath the surface, strength was forming. Capacity was expanding. Character was being shaped. I was aligning circumstances in ways you could not yet perceive. Imagine a seed underground during winter. The ground looks barren. The air feels cold. There is no visible growth. Yet when the season changes, life seems to burst forth almost overnight. What appears sudden is actually the result of patient development. In the same way, what is about to unfold in your life will look swift, but it is rooted in everything that came before. There were lessons you needed to learn quietly, habits you needed to build consistently, confidence you needed to develop steadily. If acceleration had come too soon, you might have been overwhelmed. But now, because you have endured the process, you are stronger. You are clearer. You are more grounded. Acceleration often follows alignment. When your heart aligns with my will and your actions align with your purpose, friction decreases. Movement becomes smoother. The path ahead may still require effort, but there is a sense of flow rather than strain. Think of a plane preparing for takeoff. For a long stretch, it moves along the runway, building speed gradually. From the passenger's perspective, it may feel repetitive. The ground is still close. The destination is not yet visible. But when the right speed is reached, lift happens. The same runway that once fell flat becomes the launching point for flight. Your runway season has been building momentum. Lift is coming. My beloved, when acceleration begins, stay anchored. Rapid change can feel exhilarating, but it can also feel destabilizing if you are not rooted. Remain grounded in prayer. Remain steady in discernment. Do not chase every open door. Walk through the ones that carry peace. There may be moments when you are tempted to question whether things are moving too fast. You may feel unworthy of the sudden progress. But remember, nothing is happening by accident. What unfolds has been prepared carefully. You are not stepping into chaos. You are stepping into culmination. Acceleration does not erase responsibility. It increases it. As opportunities expand, so must your focus. As influence grows, so must your humility. Stay attentive. Stay teachable. Stay aligned with my voice. Something big is waiting for you, and when this shift in pace arrives, you will recognize it. There will be clarity instead of confusion. There will be peace even amid movement. There will be confirmation within your spirit that the timing is right. Do not fear the change in speed. You have been strengthened for it. The waiting season built endurance. The pruning season built clarity. The small steps build discipline. Now those foundations support momentum. You once wondered if progress would always feel slow. You questioned whether the promise would ever move beyond possibility. But acceleration is part of your story too. The same faithfulness that sustained you in delay will guide you in advancement. Lift your eyes with anticipation, my beloved. The pace is shifting. What felt distant is drawing near. What felt slow is gaining speed. And when acceleration unfolds, you will look back and see that every quiet season was preparing you for this lift. Nothing was wasted. Every hidden moment was building toward visible movement. The runway is ending. The ascent is beginning. My beloved child, the time will come when preparation gives way to participation. The door you have been praying about will stand open. The opportunity you sensed from a distance will be placed directly in front of you. And in that moment, the question will not be whether you are capable. The question will be whether you will walk boldly into it. You have spent seasons in growth that no one applauded. You have wrestled with doubt in private. You have endured pruning that felt painful. You have taken small steps when progress felt slow. All of that was shaping you. It was building courage quietly within you. And now courage must move from the inside to the outside. Boldness is not loud arrogance. It is steady confidence rooted in trust. It is the quiet assurance that says, I am not perfect, but I am prepared. Boldness is not the absence of fear. It is the decision that fear will not govern your obedience. You may feel your heart race when the moment arrives. You may feel the weight of responsibility settle on your shoulders. That is natural. Growth always carries weight. But remember, you are not stepping into this alone. I am with you. I have gone before you. I have prepared the ground beneath your feet. Imagine standing at the entrance of a room you once thought you would never enter. For years, you believed it was reserved for others, more talented, more confident, more experienced. But now you stand at the threshold, invited. The only thing separating you from what lies ahead is your willingness to move. Do not diminish yourself in that moment. Do not apologize for stepping forward. You have been shaped through experience. You have learned through mistakes. You have grown through adversity. The version of you standing at that door is not the same version who once doubted in the beginning. There may still be voices in your mind that try to pull you backward. They may remind you of old insecurities. They may replay past failures. But those voices speak from history, not from destiny. Your past prepared you. It does not imprison you. Walking boldly means embracing visibility. It means allowing your gifts to be seen. It means accepting that your influence may expand. And influence requires responsibility. Stay humble, but do not hide. Stay teachable, but do not retreat. My beloved, boldness also requires consistency. It is not a single dramatic step. It is sustained courage. It is continuing to show up even when the excitement fades and the work begins. It is maintaining integrity when attention increases. Something big is waiting for you, and it is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to reveal you. It is meant to draw out the strength you built in silence. It is meant to stretch your capacity in ways that align with your calling. You prayed for this growth. You asked for this expansion. Now honor your own prayers by stepping fully into the answer. Do not stand at the doorway analyzing every possible outcome. Trust that I would not bring you here only to abandon you. When obstacles appear, and they will, face them steadily. Do not interpret challenge as misplacement. Every new level carries new tests, but the same faithfulness that carried you through hidden seasons will sustain you in visible ones. Lift your head. Straighten your posture. Speak clearly. Act decisively. You do not need to exaggerate yourself, nor do you need to shrink. Simply be who you have become. Walking boldly is trust in motion. It is faith expressed through action. It is the outward reflection of inward alignment. Step forward, my beloved child. The field before you is not foreign territory. It is prepared ground. And as you walk into it with courage, you will discover that the boldness you feared you lacked has been growing within you all along. My beloved child, as you walk boldly into the new space I have opened for you, I need you to understand something that will steady your heart. Before every testimony, there is a test. Not a test meant to break you, not a trap set to watch you fail, but a refining moment designed to strengthen what has already been growing within you. You may have believed that once you reached this stage, the struggle would fade. That the door's opening meant resistance would disappear. But new levels bring new challenges. Expansion attacks you. And what you have prayed for will often be tested before it is fully entrusted to you. Do not interpret testing as abandonment. Do not assume that difficulty means you step outside my will. Very often, the presence of a test is confirmation that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Consider a bridge being built across a deep valley. Once construction is complete, the bridge must be tested before it carries heavy traffic. Engineers apply weight and pressure to ensure it can withstand the load. Without testing, the structure might collapse under real use. In the same way, your faith, your character, your resilience are being tested to confirm that you can sustain what is coming. There may be moments when you face criticism you did not expect. Moments when results seem slower than you hoped. Moments when self-doubt attempts to re-enter your thoughts. These experiences are not random interruptions. They are opportunities for reinforcement. Gold is refined in fire. The heat does not destroy it. It reveals its purity. Impurities rise to the surface and are removed. Without fire, the gold would remain mixed with lesser elements. In the same way, testing exposes hidden insecurities, subtle pride, lingering fear, not to condemn you, but to refine you. You may feel stretched. You may feel as though your capacity is being pushed, but stretching increases strength. Pressure builds endurance. What once felt overwhelming becomes manageable because you have grown. My beloved, do not allow testing to send you backward into old patterns. When pressure rises, resist the urge to shrink. Resist the urge to question your worth. Your identity does not fluctuate with circumstance. It is rooted in my design. Something big is waiting for you, and the test ensures you are ready to carry it with stability. Without resilience, success can crumble. Without humility, influence can distort. Without patience, opportunity can be mishandled. Testing strengthens your foundation so that what is built upon it lasts. There will be moments when you feel tempted to prove yourself. You rush results, to silence critics through performance. But you do not need to prove your calling. Your calling is not validated by applause. It is confirmed by endurance. When the pressure feels intense, return to me. Speak honestly. Rest in my presence. Allow testing to deepen your trust rather than weaken it. Let challenges sharpen your focus instead of scattering your peace. One day, you will tell the story of this season. And when you do, the testimony will carry weight because it was forged in perseverance. Others will not only see what you achieved, they will see what you overcame. They will see the steadiness you maintained under pressure. Testing is temporary. It has a purpose and a limit. I do not allow it without intention. I do not extend it without reason. When its work is complete, you will stand stronger than before. Hold your ground, my beloved. Continue walking forward. Continue choosing courage over retreat. The fire will not consume you. It will clarify you. The pressure will not crush you. It will confirm you. And when the testimony rises from this season, it will declare not only that something big happened for you, but that something big was formed within you. My beloved child, as you stand at the edge of what is unfolding, I need you to receive this truth deeply and without resistance. You were chosen for this. Not randomly, not reluctantly, not as a substitute for someone else. You were chosen with intention long before you understood what you were being prepared for. You may still question it. You may still look at yourself and see flaws instead of formation. You may compare your journey to others and assume they are better suited. But you are measuring through human eyes. I measure through purpose. Before you experienced your first success or your first failure, I saw the thread of your life woven into a greater design. Every chapter you have lived through, every heartbreak, every delay, every small victory, every hidden struggle, was shaping you for this moment. Nothing was random. Nothing was wasted. Consider how a key is crafted. Each ridge and groove is cut with precision. To someone unfamiliar, it may look ordinary, but when it meets the lock it was designed for, it fits perfectly. It turns smoothly. It opens what no other key can open in the same way. My beloved, you are that key. The assignment ahead of you aligns with your specific design. Your personality, your sensitivity, your strengths, your past wounds, your learned lessons, all of it matters. The compassion you develop through pain allows you to understand others deeply. The perseverance you build through waiting gives you endurance others may lack. The humility you gain through mistakes protects you from pride. Each element of your story adds necessary depth. You remember moments when you felt overlooked, when your gift seemed unnoticed, when doors closed unexpectedly. But those seasons were not signs of insignificance. They were seasons of formation. Being overlooked refined your motives. Closed doors sharpened your direction. Rejection strengthened your resilience. My beloved, being chosen does not mean you feel ready all the time. It means you are positioned. It means you are entrusted. It means I see capacity in you that you are still learning to see in yourself. Comparison is one of the greatest threats to confidence. When you measure your calling against someone else's path, you distort your perspective. Your assignment is shaped by their journey. Yours is shaped by yours. If you try to imitate them, you will lose the uniqueness of what I designed specifically for you. Something big is waiting for you because you are meant to carry it. Not perfectly, but faithfully. That without growth, but through growth. The weight you feel is not meant to crush you. It is meant to stretch you into greater strength. There will be moments when responsibility feels heavy, when expectation feels intimidating. But remember, being chosen does not mean you walk alone. I am with you in every step. I am guiding decisions you cannot see fully. I am strengthening your spirit when doubts attempt to resurface. You may still feel like the same person who once questioned their worth. But you are not the same. You have matured. You have endured. You have been refined. The version of you standing here now is stronger than the one who began this journey. Chosen means appointed with purpose. It means aligned with timing. It means trusted with opportunity. It means I have confidence in what I placed within you. Lift your head, my beloved child. Do not diminish yourself out of habit. Do not apologize for stepping into what was prepared for you. This is not accidental positioning. This is intentional placement. The door before you is not someone else's destiny mistakenly placed in your hands. It is yours. The preparation behind you confirms it. The peace within you affirms it. You were chosen for this moment. Chosen to grow into it. Chosen to influence through it. Chosen to demonstrate strength shaped by testing and courage formed through faith. Stand firmly in that truth. Let it quiet insecurity. Let it steady your heart. Something big is waiting for you, and you are not standing here by chance. You are standing here because you were always meant to be here. My beloved child, you have journeyed through stirring whispers, restless nights, seasons of pruning, tests of endurance, and moments of courage. You have wrestled with doubt and learned to trust. You have taken small steps when leaps felt impossible. And now you stand at the edge of something greater, not as the same person who began this journey, but as someone refined, strengthened, and aligned. Something big is waiting for you, not because you forced it, not because you were flawless, but because you were faithful. You have learned that fear does not get the final word, that waiting is not wasted, that closed doors can be protection, that pruning makes room for growth, that tests build testimony, that obedience aligns you with blessing. Every part of your journey has been preparation. Do not forget this truth as you move forward. I have never left you. In your confusion, I was guiding. In your delay, I was shaping. In your weakness, I was strengthening. In your uncertainty, I was aligning circumstances beyond your sight. The future ahead of you is not something to dread. It is something to embrace. Walk into it with courage rooted in trust. Walk into it with humility anchored in confidence. Walk into it knowing that you were chosen, refined, and positioned for this moment. There will still be challenges. There will still be growth. But you are no longer the person who trembled at the first sign of resistance. You are someone who understands that pressure refines and testing strengthens. You are someone who has learned to break agreement with doubt and step forward in faith. Lift your head, my beloved. Release the last remnants of fear. Let go of comparison. Let go of regret. Let go of the belief that you are unworthy. What awaits you is not reserved for someone else. It is aligned with who you are becoming. I bless your steps as you move forward. I bless your mind with clarity. I bless your heart with peace. I bless your hands with strength for every task ahead. I bless your path with protection and divine alignment. May doors open in the right timing. May wisdom guide your decisions. May courage rise when challenges appear. Carry this assurance within you. You are loved deeply, guided intentionally, and supported completely. You are not walking into uncertainty alone. You are walking into purpose with me beside you. Something big is waiting for you. Do not ignore it. Do not shrink from it. Do not doubt your place in it. Step forward boldly. Trust fully. Remain faithful. And may your life become a living testimony of what happens when a heart chooses courage over fear and trust over doubt. I am with you always. Amen. My beloved child, as you step boldly into what is waiting for you, remember that your journey is now a testimony meant to light the way for others. Something big is waiting, not only in your life, but in the lives of those still searching for hope. When you give through Super Thanks, stand as a member, or sow through PayPal, the link is in the video description. You become a co-laborer in this harvest of souls. Your seed becomes fire spreading across dry fields, rivers flowing into thirsty places, loaves multiplied in my hands. Did I not promise that whatever is done for the least of these is done unto me? I receive your offering as worship. I breathe increase upon it. I release blessing, protection, and multiplied favor over your household. This is a moment of divine partnership. Do not let it pass as ordinary. Step into the greater impact prepared for you. Give now. Support this mission, and watch how I make your life a living testimony of abundance and purpose.